Hey guys, 8:22 p.m. 5/28/2020. Welcome back to the channel, Eagle Trading. Sorry guys, no video out this morning and no email to my subscribers. Business kind of pulled me away from everything. It's hard to manage what we do on my business and the channel as well. But I will say that you guys know I don't pull any punches. I've been doing stock trading forever and technical analysis for as long as I can remember. So I don't know whether the market topped out today or not. There's a couple things that kind of make me believe that it might have short term. There's a few things that kind of lead me to believe that it hasn't. We were live on Twitch, or I was live on Twitch with my son's show, and just looking at some of the things I was looking at internally, and I just said I thought the market was going to sell off late. Nothing, a little bit of it was a gut indicator. A little bit of it was some different things that I was watching. I'm trying to gauge the level of speculation and where does it end. When I look at stuff like Shop today, which has been the premier buy on the dip stock, I was short Shop intraday today, and actually, here's the intraday chart today. And when it broke this little channel in here, it was actually bumping up against this top channel up here. And sorry, my ADD is getting the best of me, just skipping subjects here, but when we had this pullback and then popped back up, it literally made like 4 touches. And this is a $750 stock, so to be short 100 shares is pretty significant. But I did put a short on here, and I was a little worried because the 1 minute candle did close just above my trend line, and my stop was tight. I was 767.10 was my stop, and luckily it did not take my stop, and we proceeded to break below this channel line. And once this channel broke right in here, this little kind of a mini head and shoulders neckline broke, man, the thing just started coming undone. But when you're talking a $700 stock and you get down to this failure here and you bounce back up and you're waiting for another drop and it pushes through, you get stopped out. I'm sorry, you just do. So you take your 8 points or wherever it was, I forget. You take your $800 and you move along, even though it did proceed to go further to the upside, looking like a genius for a little while, and then falling closer to the low of the day towards the close. We don't pull punches, like I said, guys. I come out and I say, look, I think the market's going higher. I think the market's going lower. I think we're going to have a sell-off. Today, I don't know. I think the market could have put in a high today. And a few of the things that I look at tell me that the market did do that. And a few things that I look at that tell me the market did not do that. So let's go into, and I don't like to be like most of the guys on YouTube where it's like a question mark. Did the market do this? They're so scared of being wrong. Did we just double top? Did we just create a head and shoulders? I don't ever do that. So, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know whether the market topped out today. But what I did look at intraday, and the reason I thought that we were going to top out around 307, even though I have a target price of 310 on SPY, was the McClellan oscillator. So we look at the 1 year daily on the S&P 500, which we don't want to keep picking on the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is full of very strong stocks. What I wanted to do is look at the New York Stock Exchange, the breadth of the market, the overall average stock. We want more than the top 20 that drive the S&P 500. So here's what we came up with, and we talked about this in the last video. When you look at the McClellan oscillator, it's giving you the breadth of the market, the strength of the market, and a bigger picture, a more macro picture of the market. And we did the last video, the breadth was right around here on the McClellan oscillator. And I said we're probably going to go up and touch the channel top there before we top out. And these incremental highs on the breadth of the market, which are being met with incremental highs in the S&P 500, are inverse. The average stock is being dragged up by the S&P 500. I get it. And it's making a pattern just like it did on the low end on the sell-off where it can't get further strength to the upside. It's created a beautiful channel here that we talked about. So it was pretty spot on. So as we were coming into that today, I thought we're going to hit that and the market's going to roll back over late in the day. And I was watching the VIX, TVIX, and commenting on that as well as it refuses to budge below this 10-day low that we've seen. And I said, there's a lot of energy pent up in here. And if this thing pops, look at this. This is Wednesday, right? This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. It wants so bad to go higher, right? So as the market's going higher, we're certainly at a higher price point than we were here. But TVIX is not. TVIX held this low here, and then a higher low intraday today. Although they were buying along this channel, and we were watching that when we were streaming live on Twitch, I just said, look, you can't use a stop on here. They were buying along this trend line and catching these little pops, and we were starting to curve up. But I said, I don't know how much longer they can hold out. If the market grinds higher, we're probably going to hit 307 on SPY, and that could push us down, and it certainly did. But as soon as we hit 307, man, it was like this thing shot up like a rocket. And I don't know what this move's done. I really don't. And I hate to be wishy-washy like most guys are, but I don't. You know, there's a few things that I look at, namely the McClellan Oscillator topping out. And there's a couple other things that I look at that say, we're not done here to the upside. As crazy as this sounds, we are not done to the upside possibly here. So I did take some shorts out with me, which I rarely do. And I'm not net short the market here. I just have some hedges on. I don't have a lot of long. And I'm not really hedging anything per se, other than the possibility that we did have it hit a short-term top here. Now, the NASDAQ has this descending top line that we talked about. Show me some closes over it, 2 or 3 in a row, and I'll be impressed. It's always time over. The problem is they've gapped over it, they've traded over it, and the energy, there's a lot of selling energy on the top end here, and there's a lot of buying energy on the bottom, and these two energies are meeting right here, and I don't know what's going to happen. Look at this trend line, how spot on it's been from this candle here. Touch there, touch there, touch there. Open above it, tail through it, close well above it, touch there on the penny, and then on the sell-off intraday yesterday, touch there. This is super bullish buying here along this trend line. The machines are running the show for sure. The algorithms are running the show based on this shit that we're looking at right here. But you do have a lot of energy from this first big drop candle that we saw. I mean, we got a double top here pretty much, but we also have this energy buying from the bottom, and the energy buying from the bottom has got a little more volume than the selling does, both those selling days. So it's like a mixed bag here, right? They're selling the strength, but they're buying weakness, and they're buying weakness more aggressively than they're selling strength. So as this overhead supply gets removed, can this move higher? The answer is yes. As crazy as it sounds, it can continue to move higher. So that's my mixed bag. McClellan Oscillator tells me the average stock could possibly have topped out today, that the breadth of the market will suffer from here, right? What we showed on the daily. Let's pull up the SPY again. And we've had some good trades lately. There's the channels we're talking about right there. We hit it, and we pull back. Is there fall through down here, or do we pop back up and then break above this? We break above this, market's going higher. 310, SPY, game on. But this is legitimate data right here that we're looking at. Big move from the bottom, man. Great breadth on the way up. Small caps, everybody getting involved, right? Financials, rotation. And we said if you get rotation where everything's moving in synchrony, watch out, market's going to fly. But they can't get it right. They can't. It's either the NASDAQ gets sold off, and then they rotate into the bank stocks, and the bank stocks. The problem is, after you run out of rotation, you're done. I mean, you gotta You can't keep going back to the Qs if it's at energy. You can't keep going back to the financials if there's no fundamental support there. You know, and like I hate to be wishy-washy here, guys, but trying to get into the gap and failing and then closing inside a candle day from yesterday after making a higher high. I don't know, little island reversals here. Like, you couldn't get up in the gap to close, but they got in there and just too much energy. That's your financials right there. So I don't know. This breadth is very important. It really is. And it tells me that we possibly could have hit a high today, but there's other indicators that tell me, like I said, I don't mean to be wishy-washy because that's not my style. I pretty much tell you. So let's go over the good stuff. QDEL bought at 153. Hopefully you guys took some profit today. Nice bounce. Got a little nervous yesterday when we were in at 153 because we got down to 148. Sold it today, 169 is beautiful, 170. It got as high as 172, I think. Nice move in that. The thing that made me nervous about that is that I don't feel like it corrected enough on QDEL. Like, a lot of stuff wasn't lining up. And sorry to go off track here, guys, but it just didn't. I wanted it to hit the 50-day moving average, and it didn't. I've been using a 45. But this 45 has also worked for stocks like Zoom, speculative. We got to see these break, guys, before the market's going to continue to go down, because as long as the market is speculative, the liquidity is going to rule the day, and you're not going to have a continuation sell-off. But look at this 45-day moving average touch there, touch there, touch there yesterday. Big bounce. Can't back test into the narrow range on the top. So we did have this narrow range. It was tightening, and we said this looked bearish, and it pulled back big time, right? 170 down to this 149 support on the 45-day moving average, bounced, and now what? It literally double topped too within the candle from Tuesday, I believe it was. I don't know, just very neutral here, guys. You know, back above the 20. We need the spec stocks to break. The Pelotons, the Zooms, I mean, Moderna's already broken, but we can't see stuff like Peloton up today. It tells you the speculative money is still buying the market. Look at that long tail there. These need to break, you know. One day closing below the 20-day moving average is not a break. It really isn't. So, as crazy as the day was intraday today, the sell-off, and trust me, it was nice being short, watching it go, you know, drop pretty quickly, and not for longs, obviously, and people's 401k, but it was like, you know, when you feel something in your gut, you feel like the market's going to drop, and then it does, you know, you call it out after there's no indication whatsoever. High of the day, I mean, we're talking about late sell-off. It was nice to see that, just to be right, you know. Crazy stock of the day was ABio. I seen some dude made like $100-something thousand on this today. This is madness. Stock was $3 the other day. $3. $3 and change. Let's put up 20 minutes. Hello, that's not a 20-minute. $3 and change on this one. I mean, this is the market we're dealing with here. Intraday, 10-day. Yeah, that's it. This was a high of 22 today. I mean, this is insanity. Thursday morning. Actually, I'm sorry. There it is right there. $3. This thing was $3 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they gap it, and they ram this thing. Look at the intraday chart on this. And I was trying to play this. I'm a seasoned trader, and it was just so whippy. I'm trying to do 2,000, 3,000 shares, but I'm a tight stop guy. But look at this. Once this thing broke this wedge, man, it freaking took off and started creating a little pattern here. I was trying to short it on these overbought areas, but Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade had no shares to borrow. Thank you, guys. Aftermarket 16s. I mean, 15s now. This thing's done. I mean, it's in play for a while. It'll keep it elevated, but I don't think you're going to see 22s for some time. I don't know if this was a monster squeeze. I don't know what the float was on the short. But it just shows you the speculation's still there until that dries up. I don't know, guys. I hate to say it, but I don't think the market did top out today. It's showing some type of, I don't know, indecision with energy on the top end here for sure. But when we look at the 1 year on the Hekinashis, we're still getting greens. And we're still in this wave 6 that we talked about. And I don't know that it's complete yet, you know? Let's get rid of this crazy one here. I don't know that it's complete yet. So I don't know, you know, it's not time to get our shorts on just yet. I think we need a little higher. You know, I think we need to go a little bit higher. There's wave 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5, we should have corrected. I thought we were going to correct Wednesday of this week. Wave 5 is usually a short wave. Instead, we had a little tiny Heikin-Ashi indecision candle right here. What we call a spinning top. The next move is usually a continuation move. And it was green and green and green again today, believe it or not. Even though we got a long wick on there. So Heikin-Ashi says, nope, we didn't top out. McCullough Oscillator says, maybe. Volatility says, I'm worried we did. And speculation says, no. We got a mixed bag here, guys. I wish I could be more definitive, but we'll just leave it at that. Great moves in a lot of stuff that we've been trading. DraftKings hit another high today. I'm not in it. ADCT, the IPO that we bought, I'd say all-time highs, but it only has about 10 days of trading history behind it. But we bring you stuff that we like, you know. I'm out of this already, but hopefully you've benefited from some calls that we've made. We really haven't got much wrong. I think the last thing I got really wrong was like APT. I was super bullish on it. Looking at the MACD, it was ready. I thought it just had a lot of potential. And I got caught in here. I carried some over and after hours, and I had to let it go. You know, if it doesn't get a continuation move, I had to let it go. So we did get that one slightly wrong. We're probably right and wrong all at once. I mean, KTOS, stuff's working, you know, trades that we've made, you know, SBS, we got out of that at a monster move. We're not going to sit here and pat our back on accolades, but I can honestly tell you, I don't know, guys. I don't know. There's a lot of indecision right here in the market today. And let's just leave it at that. Hopefully I'll get a better gauge tomorrow of what we're looking at here. I just wish I had better answers for you guys, but I don't. It's a mixed bag, man. It really is. We could have topped out today. It's a mixed bag. Hopefully I'll have more info tomorrow morning.